Why is it so... I guess it's just the wind, huh? It is 8:41 a.m. on Sunday, the 29th of March, 2026. And I am descending from Chestnut Knob shelter. And, didn't make a clip last night. I got into this area and was actually shocked to find four people, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. So shout out to Czar Crumbs, a guy whose name I didn't get, and then a woman. What was her name? Oh, I can't remember. I might remember later. But yeah, it was a very cold night and a very cold morning. Chestnut Knob is a very cool shelter with a really amazing view onto the valley below. But man, that wind started coming through and it was chilly. I had a lot of, I don't know, it was just like, I felt like I just kept curling into a shrimp over and over again and kind of tossing and turning. It was at like 4,600 feet, which, never advisable when you're still in late March, but it was worth it, And I knew it was going to be really cold, and it was, and continues to be. I've got my leggings on, I've got all my jackets, and immediately, the first half mile of this day has been all downhill, which is nice enough because the sun is out and I'm back in the trees, so the wind is diminished. But yeah, I thought, rather than wait for too long, I should probably see if I can squeeze any blood out of this stone about yesterday before I forget it all. As of right now, I've heard that Fresh Grounds is actually at a road crossing about 6.5 miles from here, so there might be a breakfast part 2 in my near future, which is exciting, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I'm trying to think the last time I made a clip. Yesterday morning, I'll just start from what I remember. Woke up at like 7:30, with the sun, and since I had service, did a lot of digital Needfuls, posted 5 episodes, and it was really slow going. Y'all, I can't even tell you the process that I have to go through in order to post an episode, which is, mostly self-imposed because I'm sure I could find other ways of doing it, but I have to take my clip, I have to upload it to a service that converts it from an .m4a file into a .mp3 file. So I have to upload it, it has to be processed, then I have to download it. Then I have to take that MP3 file and upload it to my podcast host, Podbean.com. And then I have to take the transcript from that podcast, feed it into AI so I can get all my show notes. And when the internet is kind of weak, that can take a long time. And so yesterday I had internet, but it was like, 2 bars of 5G, which just, it was killing me. There was a part of me, I was just like, man, I'll just do this later. But I was like, why? I should just finish it now. I'm on a roll. I'm on a digital Needful roll. Might as well just finish her up, So I didn't get out of camp until like 10:30, which was fine. I'm out here to be out here, and whether I hit the trail at 8:30 as I did this morning, or 10:30 as I did yesterday, I'm still on trail. I'm still living the dream. But yeah, admin tasks. Who likes an admin task, especially first thing in the morning? But got on trail, and it took me a little while to kind of warm up to it again. Immediately it was like a pretty decent climb up to the ridge, and I was just like, the road is kind of better than this. I'm not sure that me being on trail right now, I had mentioned it was like maybe a 4-to-1 ratio of preferring road to trail. And the main reason I jumped on trail the way that I did yesterday was that I didn't see any other reasonable roads to take in order to get back up to trail if I were to continue on the road. Okay, I thought I just heard the road, but it's probably just the wind. Yeah, there's like two options. The first one, again, these are road walking options. There is one road that connects to the trail in 6 miles. That's where Fresh Grounds is allegedly posted up, which here's hoping. And then beyond that, there's another road 15 miles up, and that's the one that I'm going to take today. I'm going to take that down to some other highway, 611, 309, who even knows? 8595842, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my parents. That was like my phone number, my childhood phone number. Before area codes too, kind of crazy. Or maybe not before area codes, but we didn't have an area code. It was just 8595842, 8595842. Yeah, I should get that tattooed somewhere. But yeah, so the second road, which I'm aiming for, is 6 miles down to a main road that will take me into Bland, and then from Bland I can walk back up to the trail for the evening, and I'll need to do some logistics to figure out what exactly all that's going to mean. You know, last night I probably had the best service that I've had in recent memory, but it was so cold I couldn't deign to use my phone whatsoever. You know, I didn't really have anything to do aside from possibly doing logistics, but you know, I got in bed and I just focused on like moving heat around. I was like, my thighs feel very cold, and then I'd get a shiver throughout my body. That kind of felt like my core was cold too, but only in a transient, very quick way. But anyway, so yeah, I got on trail. It took me a while to kind of warm up to it. There were some interesting features for sure yesterday. You know, Virginia, even though I haven't been on it for very long, is certainly much more pastoral, at least in this section leaving Damascus. Like, you just go through a lot of like visually pleasing areas. You have to climb over stiles that get you over fences, and generally it's just a little bit more unique than like the Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee region. Like those, you know, by and large, I will say, broad strokes, those are typically a lot more tunnel, like AT green tunnel style, whereas it's like rhododendrons on your left and right, jokers to the left of me, you know what I'm saying? Stuck in the middle with you. Yeah, just like there's nothing to look at. And so, you know, hikers, it behooves us to look down anyway, because, you know, it's important that our footfalls are calculated. And so on top of that, when there's nothing to look at, it's just like, it's monotonous, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, yesterday was cool. I will say there was a hostel that I went to, or that I didn't go to, I went by, and they had put Easter eggs out at a certain part of the trail, which was much appreciated, because I was like dreaming of like some kind of a pick-me-up before the climb that I was going to have to do to get up to Chestnut Knob, which was not crazy. It was like a maybe 2,300 foot climb over 5 miles. So, you know, I hear stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be a low and a slow climb, because it's just like you have a lot of distance to cover that elevation, and most likely, maybe not most likely, most hopefully that will occur in a way that is like kind of equally metered and measured out, so that there's not like parts of extreme exertion. Like if you can stay in that kind of mode of like having a rhythm that's kind of uninterrupted by the terrain, it's a lot easier to keep going, just because you're plugging and you're chugging, just like algebra. And so that was cool. The Easter eggs. Also, when I went to this little shed that was by the trail, close to where the Easter eggs ended at a road crossing, and the shed had some like some drinks like Propel Fitness water and stuff like that. So I had one of those, and then kind of bushwhacked my way back to the trail, and I found some interesting things. I'm guessing somebody paid the what's it called, the hostel that was right there that did the Easter eggs, to do like a food cache for them. So like they hid their food in an area that only they would know, because I found 2 food bags. One was in an ammo can, which was interesting, and I couldn't help but open it up because I'm always dreaming that I will just find like $10,000 just because of all this road walking and being outside and stuff like that. And I was like, an ammo can, like that's a good place to put $10,000. And so opened it up and just found a bunch of food. So I left it, didn't disturb it, didn't take anything from it. Whoever's it was, I figured, best that they get what they paid for. And then I found another food bag, like I mentioned, that was just a normal, like roll top waterproof food bag that was also very poorly hidden. Both these things were pretty poorly hidden. You would never have any reason to be going through that area unless you happened to be me at that exact moment. But yeah, I thought that was interesting too. So yeah, then it was a 2,000-foot climb, and eventually I did settle into the trail and I was enjoying it. The visuals didn't hurt, and the interesting surroundings were a lot more engaging. But I also started listening to Michael Crichton's autobiography. I think it's just called Travels, and I really enjoyed listening to that. That was the thing that was really taking the majority of my attention, and I look forward to listening to it again today. He's an interesting guy, Michael Crichton. I had forgotten that he also created the show ER. So I was like, man, this guy had some buku bucks. Like, no wonder he had a girlfriend that was like 10 years younger than him, and was traveling the world in between big Hollywood deals. And interesting dude. I don't know how far I am in the book, maybe about halfway or so, but he just talked about his experience climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, and it was kind of laughable to listen to. Just, I think he's presenting like a very comically pathetic version of himself for this specific story. And I just had the fleeting thought that my water bottle, I really don't want it to be freezing, but I can't even see it, so whatever. It's probably not 32 degrees. It's probably in the 30s, but whatever. Anyway, so yeah, it was just funny listening to it because like he was very underprepared in every conceivable way for the climb of Kilimanjaro. Like, he didn't have any kind of specialized footwear, and he ended up getting some really bad blisters. He didn't bring like I think he described it as like a sweater and a rain jacket and like jeans and stuff like that. And they climbed up to 18,000 feet over 3 days. And yeah, I mean, honestly, it made me feel better about the conditions that I was in, because I was like, yeah, being at 17,000 feet, whatever, that would suck. Like the altitude, the lack of oxygen, the for sure frigid temperatures, but it was an enjoyable thing to listen to while also hiking, because I'm just like, well, I'm glad I don't have any blisters, and I'm glad I'm not at 18,000 feet. You know what I'm saying? Nice little, like the opposite of compare and despair. Compare and declare. You know what I'm saying? I think that you do. And so I got to the top, Chestnut Knob, and I really had anticipated having the whole thing to myself. I was kind of looking forward to it because I knew it was going to be cold up here and most likely windy at some point, since it has been. And yeah, when I got up to the place and there were already people there, I was like, well, that's fine. Like, that sometimes it'd be like that, and I can transition my usual like nightly monologue into actually having meaningful conversations with these people. And so it was. I had my first hot dinner. I've not cooked any actual food for dinner the entire time I've been here until last night. I think last night was probably a good night for it, as chilly as it was. So I had some ramen, sat at a picnic table, I don't think I've mentioned this before, but I've given myself, well, let me first start by giving a little bit of context. I really don't like being sick, specifically of the oral or rectal route. That's just such a bummer. And it just requires such a halt to the status quo, And so when I was doing the bike ride back in August, in order to be able to function without worrying pathologically about my own health, I had to make up my own rules. So I determined anytime I would make a wrap, like a peanut butter wrap or whatever, I could use the top of the burrito tortilla bag as a clean and safe place to make it. And I also I think I generally declared my hands safe to eat with, but that's a little bit more a matter of faith than truth. Anyway, so I cleaned the Blue Ridge Parkway one time, right? And I think I already mentioned this, but in order to clean the Blue Ridge Parkway to my own satisfaction, I had to develop rules so that I would know that I was doing a good job, and I would know the limits of what I was actually trying to do. Because the Blue Ridge Parkway is it's a big area to quote unquote clean. So I determined basically I would only pick up trash that I saw from the shoulder extending no more than 8 feet out. Because if you went more than 8 feet and you could look down a little ravine, or sometimes areas were just flatter and you could see further, you'd be able to see that there was even more trash. And I didn't want to get stuck. I wanted to be constantly moving, as I currently am. And so I made my own rules so that I would know that by the system I had created, I could track my own progress, and my level of ultimate satisfaction. And so similarly with the tortilla thing, made my own rules so that I would know if I was actually doing something dangerous by my own manufactured definition. And then now, being almost 600 miles into the trail, I wonder what road this is. Let's see what road this is. I'm just curious if I can do some creative ambling, which I would much prefer at this point. If I'm going to be talking, what road is this? It looks like it goes precisely nowhere. Yes, Berks. Unless I can hit things from the top, but that seems ridiculous. Does that? That would work, but that would be a lot more miles, I think. Yeah, it's not worth it. Oh, staying on trail is the better option for now. But yeah, so basically what I'm saying is being 600 miles into the trail now and being far ahead of the bubble, I have decided that it is now safe for me to explore the idea of staying at shelters and also eating at them. Historically, especially earlier, I would eat at water sources and not try to possibly contaminate myself with anything that might have norovirus on it. But I think, again, this is just me making up my own rules so that I don't get stuck, in some line of thinking or some maladaptive way of behavior. Because, the shelters are cool, and the only reason I don't like them is mostly because you have to share them with other people. But being out this far, there's more potential now that I can actually have them to myself, or I can trust the people a little bit more who cohabitate with them, with me, within them. So, yeah, that was a pretty big realization. I guess the whole point of even bringing it up is that I ate lunch at a shelter yesterday on the picnic table. I felt like a feral dog, like when it's, or maybe an abused dog, and someone's trying to get the dog to come over to them, and it's really tentative and kind of slinking around, and like, you know, maybe takes 1 step forward, 2 steps back kind of a thing. That was the vibe. So yeah. What else? I think I'm about 50 miles away from Woods Hole Hostel, which I would like to stay at and possibly have a 0 at. I looked it up and it looks like Pearisburg is like, it's pretty far. It might be 10 miles further north of Woods Hole, which now, knowing that, I understand back in 2019 why my trail family, it must have been very early in the day when we got to Woods Hole, because they were certainly not ready to stop. And so they continued on. And yeah, makes sense. So I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to do a 20-mile day on a 0 day to go into Pearisburg to get beer. So I don't know. There's also the option of Angel's Rest. I guess now I'm just doing live logistics and going uphill. Perfect combination. So is there anything else? Oh, yeah, I did do some math recently that I thought was interesting. So I was curious how many miles I've done versus what mile marker of the trail that I'm on. And as of yesterday, which, you know, this is still roughly the same, I had done 10 more miles in total than the trail mile that I am at. And so I just thought that was interesting. Obviously, I started with, 77 miles extra with the road walk to Amicalola. So there's a little bit of a fudge factor there. But yeah, in general, despite the fact that what I'm doing could be viewed as lesser than, I've actually done more miles. So it hasn't been a shortcut, only marginally, but still, it's not like I got here to mile 500 and only did 200 miles or something, you know. So yeah, that was kind of cool. And I think that's about all I've got to say for now. I think the terrain is against me. So yeah, I'll definitely be getting back to you later tonight from the trail north of Bland, Virginia. Lord only knows what will happen between here and there, my dude. Love you. Bye.